Okay, and now we're live. So, I am trying my hand back into this as a well. I started this in my alternative channel. Is it alternative channel or alternate channel? What's the difference between alternate and alternative? Anyway, so I have another channel under the moniker of God, and I have a lot of podcast. I mean, a lot of podcasts, sort of podcast, informal podcasts on that channel. So I'm trying to delve into this again as a new hobby, and let's see how it goes. Most I don't plan anything. It's mostly supposed to be free flowing, and everyone's getting into the act. So yeah, I'm like, so why not? And see, I believe like if the content is good, it doesn't matter. Like all the filigrees and frills and uh, finials, it they don't matter. I mean, yeah. Same with books, music, like Eminem. Like I mean, I think I talked about it before on my other channel. If you can rap, I mean, what the fuck does it matter if you have a good hook or a good beat or whatever? Like, I mean, if you can write, you can just get a notepad and write, type bang and fuck formatting. I mean, you can find good trillions of books that are nicely formatted, cute. I mean, but they have no substance. Like, I mean, so fuck substance. I mean, fuck style. I mean, that'll come later. Even Joe Rogan, when he got started, yeah, he started very ghetto and grungy, and then he. So right now I'm in my room. I have my computer open. I basically the another reason why I want to do it. I want to get a break from weed, and also I want to rack my brain just to see what's inside because I've been studying so much and dumping information in my head so much, but I'm not nowhere in the league of the people like the chasers, Dark Destroyer, Mark Lebed, those guys, Chase UK. Or even Croatia. They're chasing Croatia and Australia and other countries. I don't know how many countries they have in, but yeah, those people know. I mean, even forget about chasers. They're the elite league. But people who are like your regular trivia, bar trivia, pub trivia, garden variety trivia dude, the fat guy with glasses who lives with his mom. Even he can annihilate you. Like, because people, lot of, I mean, people make fun of America. Like they say, I was looking at, watching another video. Let me see who probably a junk mail. Oh, okay. I'll be right back. No, don't. Hello. Please leave a message after the tone. So, yeah. Sorry about that. Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, your garden variety, like your local pub trivia guy. Even he'll know a lot. Like he can, like, because as I was saying, people make fun of America. Like we're not stupid. We're stupid. We're not knowledgeable. Like in India, or Japan, China, they have the Gaokao test. I think Gaokao, that's what it's called. I'm not sure. They like study for 16 hours a day, and like they think it's some kind of virtue. But people in America, the beauty of Americans is that the freedom that we get, it it's basically we develop unfettered imagination to basically do whatever to develop the brain in a way, in in ways that it's not even humanly conceivable. Like I'm a big trivia fan, Jeopardy, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Chaser, like James Holzhauer. Like I mean, imagine sculpting a brain which has so much synaptic interconnections and like a neural network, real neural network, not an artificial one. What is Heb? Does anyone know what Thomas Heb is? Hebbian interconnection and Hazian. Hazian is the military. It's like a Gilly. Is it a Gilly? Gilly? Is that how you pronounce it? Gilly? Yeah, most of my podcast is gonna be like that, like Tristram Shandy, like side note of ancillary branch of a tangent offshoot. Just like yeah, I just can't stay on. I was watching the Elon Musk. Not that I'm saying I'm like Elon Musk, but yeah, I mean the guy is a genius. But I don't. I wonder like Why is he so inarticulate and incoherent? I mean, he obviously can. He's a good command of English. I mean, he's articulate. He's a genius. But does he get nervous? Does he have social anxiety? Like the TED Talk interview, the 50 minutes, 40 minutes, like it's barely coherent. I'm not taking a pot shot at him, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, is there any reason? Like, his brain, like, too many things happening in his brain. Like, I honestly think, like, even the photographic memory could be a far cry from that. But with Zazen, you can develop your brain, your mind to such a level where you can calm down, where empty the mind, make it empty crystal ball, like a crystal skull, empty crystal skull. And even in 1 hour, if you can focus on something, the power of Zazen is can be so, power of concentration can be so dangerous and intense, the focus, that you can, like, suppose a Hungarian English dictionary, you can just blast through it. You just, like, if you have like Patanjali type unadulterated pure concentrated concentration, like this laser focus, laser, I'm sure you can just blast through a Hungarian English dictionary page a second and just absorb it. Yeah, speed read it and recall, because when you shut down your logical mind, you become more holistic. I mean, basically, actually, you need to use your whole brain. They talk of hemisync, where your whole brain is working. Another thing that helps, I think, whole brain is like Kali, Filipino martial arts. Like, I always notice when I use my both hands, the stick fighting, like it's almost like you're using your both. It's ambidextrous sport. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, I used to, and when I was in high school, I used to do this. I think I don't know if I revealed it. Yeah, I was embarrassed. Like, someone found out that we're doing this group project, and they found out this baby, like, writing on the back of my notebook, and then explain, and he was like, why is it like this? And I said, because I write with my left hand. I didn't explain to them because I was trying to be ambidextrous. I was trying to develop the other unused side portion. And then the student was like, oh, whatever. But I was kind of, it's funny how he, like, 20 years ago it was embarrassing, just intelligence, knowledge, and, like, self help, self development. We have come a far way. Like, I mean, before, you, like, imagine the time where if you said, like, even in 1985 or 80s, late 80s, if you say, oh, I have computer, people, you'll, like, be laughing stock, or, like, people think you're a weirdo. And it's like the norm. Books, like, I mean, the perception, societal perception changes with the ages and the zeitgeist. So as I was saying, yeah, so I used to do that, and I didn't continue with anything in my life. But that whittled away, and oh, and then I was at a psychiatrist, I think, in Bangladesh. I don't know if a psychiatrist or a doctor. And I told him, he was like a vestibular guy. And I asked him, how can I improve brain? Like, does rollerblade, cycling, unicycling, does it involve increased brain intelligence? He was like, no, but he was a vestibular guy, but he didn't even know what vestibular intelligence is. And he was like, no, but Sudoku does. But that moron didn't get in Bangladesh, the doctor, is that every time you exercise it, it's like the more foreign and distant and out of your zone, comfort zone is, and a an action is, you perform an action, the more you kind of, it's like taking, I guess, I don't know, I guess it's like taking blotter or whatever. I never did acid, but it's like, that's the best. That's why I'm doing this podcast now, because it's been a year or 2 year more than that, and it's almost like I'm forcing my brain to do new things for synaptogenesis and neurogenesis. Because every time you do new things, but even this is not drastic. If I were to go for horse riding or bungee jumping or skydiving, the whole process would, like, have, first of all, just the process of learning. I mean, you're gonna have dopamine release, you're gonna have neurogenesis, synaptogenesis, and and myelination comes later. I think that's when you do the same thing over and over again, like pi to 100 digits, like that. That's like transferred in my long term memory, and because I don't even have to think about it, like 3.14159265358979323846264338382. Oh shit. That's the thing with muscle memory. If you lose track, 78164 640 628 628 899 628 034 825 342 11709. It's kind of rusty, but I will never forget it, I think, because it's been transferred in my long term memory and I didn't have to think. But the downside is it's like muscle memory. You lose track, a train of, you know, um, lose track, train of thought, and then you have to think about it. It's like, kind of like, how do you explain it? Like, like sometimes you say the spelling bee, they use the motion of their hand, like they kind of, what do you call that? There's a term for that, like where you not dawdle, like where you so hover your pen before you write something, or if you, I'm sure there's a term for where you mimic the writing motion. There's some distinct, and that's another thing with learning languages. It's like every language. It's like, suppose you want to learn like spruce. If you want to learn, I don't know, Eskimo. Is that a language? Inuit, Inuit, or Eskimo. I don't know. What's the language of the Eskimos? Inuit or whatever. Like spruce. I mean, obviously they'll have. I don't think they'll have the dictionary won't have their word. It's like every dictionary. If you blast through, that's I think it was the best way to learn a language. You blast through a dictionary and you get a taste of the culture, the heritage, the flavor of the culture context, the milieu. Like, I mean, Hawaiian, if a Polynesian, you'll see like things like astronomy, like canoe, like there's parts of the canoe, like Tongan or Hawaiian, like the front of the board, back of the canoe, side of the canoe. There are like distinct terms for that. And I mean, if you learn Chinese, probably they wouldn't have that, but they will have different term for like I guess jade or like virtue or like it's like yeah, there is no universal dictionary. I mean, what I mean by is that Freelang was another Freelang software. I mean, they're not paying me or anything, but that's another way. Like flashcards. Flashcard is a great way to learn a language. Yeah, some guy challenged me to learn Tongan in a month. I got the motivation is the key. I mean, and the resources are low, but I have a ton of flashcards at my home. About I think 200 flashcards of Tongan phrases. I mean, but yeah, you have to practice it. I mean, what are the odds I'll run into some Tongan guy? It was a random language challenge, and but I mean, these are excuses. I mean, if you want to learn something, if, no matter how obscure language is, Ojibwe, if you, but the motivation is the key. I think the biggest factor in language learning is the motivation. But like other day, I was at a Vietnamese store and I was looking for salt and I quickly Googled the Vietnamese word for it. I think it's mui, and just you just know only one word out of like hundreds of thousands, but you get another dopamine rush because it's like a key that fits that clicks, and that itself like will propel you to do more and more. But you can memorize the whole fucking Finnish or like Estonian dictionary or like Khmer dictionary, but I mean, if you don't use it, if it, see, dopamine is actually extremely contextual. Like when you run, the anandamai, the feel good chemicals, endorphins, anandamai, dopamine, serotonin, all these, they don't start flowing until you finish the run. It's not like, yeah, it'll start pumping after a 20-minute mark, but if you still have one lap to go, it's like only when you're done with the final lap, that's when it's gonna jack up, and also it's a very contextual dopamine release, like anticipation. Like yeah, the other day I was like, I'm trying to get a food like kebab, Turkish. I don't know if it's Turkish, whatever. And I didn't even eat anything, and but I was driving there and I put my electronic music on, and oh wow, and but lately I've been on a bad funk. But yeah, that I was there was so much dopamine pumping in my brain, um, because of anticipation. But after I ate that, it wasn't I wasn't as satisfied with the kebab and even the first bite. Even today too, the McDonald's for some reason my appetite is kind of wonky. I don't get taste. Like I don't know. My mood is like very stable. Oh, it could be also because I'm on meds. My mood is very stable, like steady. It's like no ups and downs. That's also, I think, ancillary, I guess, symptomatic of, I guess, psychiatric meds. But I don't care really. I mean, even weed doesn't get me anymore. I don't know, for some reason. I don't know. Makes me paranoid, but I don't get the bliss. For some reason, the bliss, like before, even too much dopamine is not good. Too much dopamine makes you schizophrenic. Schizophrenic, yeah. I was watching golf today, and yeah, it was from PGA Tour 2019. I think, what's the guy's name? Kripke, Kauke, Kyoke. I don't know. Molinari. I don't know. And Tiger Woods. Those three of those players playing in 2019 some tour. I forgot the name. Beckham or some. Yeah, and this is the only time I start from the beginning, and that's why I could follow it. And mainly, see, my the way I structure my life is like continuous learning. Like golf has been my deficiency. Obviously, American sports is one of my deficiencies. Boxing is a very deficiency. UFC. I mean, probably 10%. You remember the? I think I've talked about before in my alternate on my podcast, my channel, other channel. It's like, how Watson did a breakdown of Sherlock Holmes's strengths and weaknesses, like botany, impressive, medical anatomy, like widespread. Like, you remember that? I think he was studying Scarlet. So if you were to do one of those for me, I mean, for UFC, I mean, yeah, different topics. Let's indulge myself. Some narcissistic indulgence. Okay, so chemistry, very little. I don't know. I'll give myself about 20%. Physics, I was looking at the physics Nobel Prize winners in physics. So many names I don't know from the latter half of the century. So that's another thing. See, the key is what people don't get, how to learn everything about everything, is people don't get is you don't need to, as I think I mentioned in another in my alternate channel. That would be annoying, like constantly harping about mentioning something on my alternate channel. Anyways, what I was trying to say is these are all fillers, folks. So what I was saying is, yeah, you don't need to read 200 books on Nigeria, even though there could be thousands of books on Nigeria. You don't need to read each and every one of them to know about Nigeria. So, see, anything can be learned. See, I can take any random guy off the street, just like an Navy SEAL, master, quartermaster. I don't know what's a quartermaster. Whatever. I don't know my nautical terms of designations like sergeant, staff master, quartermaster. But yeah, the point being, or coach rather, yeah, I can take any. You can take any guy off the street and teach him like, yeah, like there's some girl, I don't know her last name. I forgot, Kanikar. I think she's Indian, half Indian, and she employed J Palm, a Rubik's cube solver, and all she did it like for 10, 12 hours a day. All she did was just to learn how to solve Rubik's cube under a minute, and it can be done. It can be done if you have the money, the resource, time, energy to spend. So anyone, she did it at the end of the week. I don't know what Kanikar or Kanikar, that's her name. And so yeah, anything can be. You can take any random Joe Blow and like, remember those slum in India, slum experiment where they put a computer and the computer, and then the slum the urchins, the street urchins or whatever, they would they would learn it, they would figure it out, because we're basically apes, we're monkeys, these are like a tool, so we'll figure it out. It's like, and also the subconscious learning. I mean, yeah, we're apes, we have a spiritual, astral ethereal being, the astral plane, and we also have a subconscious mind. But anyway, you wanna, any way you cut it and slice it and dice it and half it, um yeah, you can learn anything, but the problem is motivation. Like War and Peace, don't you think people can memorize it verbatim? Of course, it's nothing, it's a joke. But given enough motivation to $100,000, you bet your ass I'll be able to do it. Anyone will be able to do it. I was looking at this guy, I have to look it up, it's online. This I don't know what's his name, Genchi Riposhi or something like that. But he's a white guy. He's a Tibetan Buddhist monk. He memorized, I think, 837 or 800 plus pages of book verbatim. He can rattle out. He won the memory championship in Tibetan Buddhism. It's basically rote learning. You want to learn how to, like, to be or not to be. That is the question. So, and they'll be like, to be or not to be, to be or not to be, to be or not to be. That is the question. That is the question. To be or not to, and then they like stitch it up. To be or not to be. That is the question. They repeat it 10 times. But the point being, they can, there's some incredible people out there who knows all the Tibetan Buddhist, like they're memorizing all these incredible tomes, and it's extremely hard work, arduous, and time consuming, and need a lot of energy. But the point being, they have extreme motivation. So if they can do that, they can memorize encyclopedias and consume like I think another guy, there was another guy, another Tibetan guy who could apparently blast through 30 pages, not blast through, like memorize, commit to memory 30 pages, because I think what happened was hippocampus, and that was my ultimate goal, to see, like, if I force myself to memorize something over and over again, does the muscle increase and gradually become just like real muscle. You lift you lift heavier weight, and then you'll be able to lift a, I don't know, 10 pound bag. If you can lift a 40 pound, or just like the R4 theory. Is it memory like that? So that if you force yourself to memorize, like I can rattle 100 digits. So obviously now my psychological barrier is like, yeah, I can probably memorize even 20 digits in under like 5 minutes or whatever, 2 minutes. But the point being, but it is gonna happen naturally. Like, the taxi cab driver, the hippocampus, they're like, what I don't know what was the outcome of the experiment where they tested those taxi cab drivers with enlarged hippocampus, if they can recall the memory. I mean, a random object scattered on the ground, if their memory actually increased, and if their natural memory increased. That's, yeah. So basically, yeah. So where was I? Tibetan Buddhist monks, encyclopedia memorized. Yeah, anyone can do anything basically. Like chemistry, you can, if you really wanted, you can get if you go to program 10 years PhD in chemistry. Anything can be learned. But going back to the chasers, so as I think Mark Lebet was saying, suppose, or like I think even Dark Destroyer with Sean Wallace, like they were saying, suppose you want to learn about sumo, don't you think if and you have to know about it, there is a good incentive for it? Yeah, you 1 week is more than enough to master it, like to learn it. I mean, they're like fucking 16 hours a day. You do that for a week, hundreds of hours. That's enough time to master any topic. So the key is not it cannot be done. The key is the motivation on anything. Motivation. What's in it for me? You know, the Navy SEALs talk about the baby steps. Like if you can't walk, if you can't run, walk. If you can walk, crawl. But whatever you do, don't give up. The whole Martin Luther King Jr. Quote. But yeah, so it's all about motivation, with the internal autotelic motivation, the drive that is hard to get. I mean, so ultimately, it's not about doability. I mean, if Mount Everest was a icy and chilly and windy and whatever, it was a regular mountain like Kilimanjaro or whatever. I mean, if it was I mean, Kobe talked about it. It's like it's about basically Everest. The way he described it, it's like you put one foot in front of another, and before you know it, you're on top of Everest. Like basically, that's essentially what it is. It's a reiteration. You're iterating the same concept over and over again. Repeat step one. Take one step, repeat step one. Literally. Memorize, Britannica. Memorize one word, memorize another two word, rote repetition, and can be done. But my approach was, my angle of attack was how to develop photographic memory, so that you can basically, like, real authentic, like what can you do to the brain. I mean, I think some people whose corpus callosum doesn't, like Kim Peek, or if you can activate corpus callosum for some reason and get to hemisync way, where you both of hemisphere of the brain are operating in tandem, in concert and synchrony, then you can do. See, it's not about, why is it people think you need to have some disease or defect, for your mind to function. Like you have to be autistic or disabled or some have some. See, people have this. Western psychology, Western doctors, Western meditation, scientists, skeptics, okay, so-called skeptics, academicians, all these people, they have this like, woe is I, woe is me, poor little me, we're all equally inferior type of mentality. Like, oh, like that's unhealthy. That's toxic. If you think that, it's like thinking that, oh, writing is a privilege, you need to have super genius to write or read, or like, but I think in 10 years or for 20 years, who knows, maybe 100 years from now, telepathy, accelerated learning, omniscience, omniglot, fluent in all the languages of the world, knowing how to play any instruments like matrix style, knowing all the martial arts of the world, renaissance, everyone will be a renaissance man. It can be very well possible in 100 years time, everyone is a renaissance man, everyone has telepathy, everyone knows martial arts, everyone knows, uh everyone can, like, everyone can pick up any skill, like the Halo neuroscience. Again, they're not paying me. It's like you wear something like Halo neuroscience. Basically, what I found out is like, if you meditate, because you have to meditate before you use Halo neuroscience, the helmet, where allegedly you can just pick up how to play like Mozart or Bach, like, like in hours. Like, allegedly snipers that double their performance 200%, the shooting. But the point, well, you can a little bit. There's nothing that a little bit of meditation cannot do. So yeah, we can, like, but people think that something. It's like, yeah, Bill Maher was also Joe Rogan the other day, and he was like, it's like your brain allocates. Why does your brain need to allocate? Well, who knows? I mean, yeah, maybe there needs to be lopsided development. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Like, if you focus on something like those taxi drivers' memory, like their hippocampus was large, and people who are by birth, who are facial super recognizers, who can recognize faces, they, by birth, that proportion, I don't know the name. There's a specific portion for recognizing faces. It's like incredibly developed for those people. So like Warnick's area, Broca's area, I guess, could be developed for people with language or whatever, who are, or glial cells for Einstein, or hyper. What is hypertrophy? Atrophy is wastage, but in hypertrophy, what I'm trying to say is like what if you're so hyper developed that part, and yeah, so who knows? Yeah, brain does, probably our body does allocate. It's like it conserves energy. But the point I'm being is that it's not like, it's like saying, oh, if your both of the livers or both of the lungs cannot function unless you cut off you don't work your toes. No, human brain, human mind, human body is an incredible machine. Those that's designed to do incredible miraculous especially, did you watch the best way to describe is the, I guess, how Jigsaw talks about your brain is incredible, organ, and it can suspend from nails, and it can, the skin can is a work of marvel. It can endure a lot of pressure and psi, whatever. It is true. Like Morgan Freeman did the Miracle episode on National Geographic, I think, and the guy, he survived, I think, 40 story floor, or 47-story floor. He fell down, his brother died. Which is, now I wasn't laughing, my apologies. I know there was a subtle snickering. No, I mean, the reason why it's kind of scoffed is because it's irony. It's tragic. It's like, it's tragic that his brother died but he didn't. It's like, what the hell? It's like God's cruel joke. But the point being, he survived. The people who get stabbed with a knife on their head, they walk into ER, they get survive. So it's, mind is like, who knows that mind, like John Sidus, who could allegedly had a degree in medicine and law, I think from Harvard. William James Sidus, not John Sidus, William James Sidus. Yeah. So yeah, people thinks it's like, I mean, people thinks like, people still had that archaic model of, like, they don't believe in neuroplasticity, or even though believe in neuroplasticity, it's like their action doesn't, like, they don't back it up with actions. It's like this Western psychology, Western medicine, the doctors still have the doom and gloom mentality. It's basically their own inner frustration and whatnot, inner deficiency, inner, the telling of their inner inner yeah, whatever. But yeah, who is to say we cannot change mold and shape, and basically the brain is a muscle. Who is to say that we cannot shape it and mold it to do like anyone can be Alex Honnold, anyone can be like Navy SEAL. This like yeah, like Matrix. Like you download stuff like from the Akashic records and you can develop photographic memory. Like I don't think we are harnessing our brain's power to the maximum. I mean, and and I guess the theory in fashion is that about neurology is that. Oh, that it's hypofrontality. It's like it's not like more. It's like less is more. Like as Stephen Kotler would say, it's like hypofrontality, temporal hypofrontality, where you're reducing the neocortex is doing. You're calming the brain activity, and that's how it becomes. It's like when you're calmer, you take in the encompassing scene even more because it's like you're at rest. It's like you're at the point of rest, or as the Taoists talk about, the center of the pottery or a wheel. It's like that's the more powerful. It's nothing, but it's everything. So it's like when you're completely silent and calm and in the zone, yeah, you can. And the trick is, I think, biggest one of like one of the biggest human achievement would be to enter flow state. I know people do kundalini yoga or like LSD or dry psychedelics or even running or whatever, yoga, Wim Hof breathing, holotropic breathing. I think one of the greatest, if you can activate that state at will. And another secret I'll give away, if you want to manifest something, if you focus on your third eye. I think what's that guy's name, the crackpot fucking I mean, he's a crackpot, but he has a lot of gem and gold. That guy with the blanket, Eric Ho. I know, and he has a lot of followers. He's like a cult member. I mean, I know I'll probably get in trouble for like calling him out. Point being, like he specifically made a video on that. That if you focus on your third eye, and man, I want to manifest something, it happens faster. And I think that's the simplest, that's the most effective, simplest solution of law and attraction. Is like you go in alpha state, focus on your third eye, and it happens. But my point is, why you want to do that is like you can't do that every day, 10 hours a day, and just hope you're gonna get your bills, paid out. You have to. I'm not saying you have to work, like, but what I'm saying is some people take law of attraction to such an extent. It's like they take Neville Goddard's teachings, like it's like they don't want to do anything, and then it doesn't nothing works, and it backfires, and they're like they hover back and forth between action and non-action, and it's like it's a mess. Like a law of attraction community is a mess, and it's another it's another niche area for people to make, another stick spiel for people to make quick income by, because basically, I mean, it's like it's what you have to do. You just have to articulate. It's basically what I'm doing right now. You have to talk, you have to edit and make. It's a big business, man. Essentially, it's a low effort, low content. Low content doesn't mean low quality. I'm just saying it's like just like podcasting. Why do you think so many people are into podcasting? Because because uh yeah, fucking it's easy, dude. I mean, if you could make passive income just by fucking talking bullshit and just do some fucking, why wouldn't want people do it? Yeah. But podcasting, like right now I'm rambling. It only works best when there's a guest. It's like you're going back and forth between other guys, other people, and yeah. I think I'll tap out because it's been 34 minutes of me nonstop rambling, and Is the I'm regurgitating the same stuff I said in other podcasts because it can. It's a. I mean, when you do it, when you start doing it, you get pretty excited, hyped up, but then you come to a point where you get so tired, you're like question your sanity, and like it's like so sad and lonely. You're basically talking to yourself and recording it. I mean, you can get to a state where you feel like that. But obviously, I mean, if people listen, then that's a different story. But yeah, it's like if a tree falls in a forest, no one there to listen. Does it still make a noise? I don't know why I said that. Is that a Zen Quan or who said that? Or is that the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics? Yeah, yeah. Back in the days, Fritjof Capra, Tao of Physics, Fred Alan Wolf, those people, I think they used to make a lot of reference to this tree in the forest analogy. So I'm having Monster now. Again, I'm not getting paid by Monster, but I think I saw Tiger Woods as I was mentioning in the golf. So yeah, as I was talking about golf, like yeah, so it's pretty easy to follow. It's very interesting actually. I mean, so as I was saying, that's how I structure my day. It's like I want to learn 24 hours every waking hours, and by learning, you don't have to read books. Like suppose like because people think that reading books is some kind of virtue, but dude, it all it matters is how. All I'm concerned about is how to absorb bulk of information, how to dump loads of content in the brain, and the maximum efficient period efficient way. So if you're reading a book on, fine. I mean, yeah, obviously if you read a book, but yeah, but the pros and cons is that give and take is that your mind tends to wander. You get bored when you're reading. If I mean, suppose a book on I don't know, fucking Crimean War. You read that, you get bored. But if you watch a video, although a book will have a lot of information on it, Crimean War or the book, like the dates and everything. First of all, you won't retain as much, and it won't be as visually stimulating. So even if you watch a 10-minute video, it won't have as packed with information, but you'll have a better strong foothold on it because a strong stronghold. I mean grasp of it because it's immersive. So, I mean, yeah, duh. Obviously, I'm gonna watch a video, and people say, "But you're not absorbing, you're not cramming your brain with more information." Yeah, but you can. I mean, see, another thing. Even though I hated college, one of the things I used to notice is like after days of hard work of I don't know ceramics history or whatever. After I came home and watched the Wikipedia, suppose Isnik, it's like after grinding so much at school, like 3 or 4 hour, 3 hours lecture, you come home, you just look at a Wikipedia page on Isnik or whatever the topic is, fucking I don't know, Heidegger or whatever. You'd absorb it faster because you kind of mulled over it and like analyzed it and went over regard. I mean, you analyzed it and poured over it. It's like. So that's one of my that's what I wanted to do. Like I want to learn everything about everything. So today basically this is what I did. I got up, I watched a video on saints. It was A to Z, a compendium of saints on YouTube. So I have knowledge of saints like Saint Augusta, Agatha. There are patron saints. They each there's the sainthood and there, it could be I don't know fucking book binding. I don't think there was a book binding one, but hats, lottery, you know, travel. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, but I'm sure like when I watched it, it's there in the brain, it's there in the subconscious mind, but I won't be able to write it out right now because it's not arranged. It's like the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle still they're dumped inside my head, but they're not arranged so that I'll be able to write it out A to Z. But I'm sure if we were to like trigger it, like if someone said who was sent, I don't know, freaking uh, and that's another thing. I have to test myself. So if I were to get a name, people will say, "Oh, obviously you know it because you know it. That's what you figured out the same." Like Saint Martin. Like right now, I cannot think what was the patron saint of. But if I were to go get into deep hypnosis, not me, anyone. If you get into deep hypnosis, these people say, "Oh, I could remember what I had for breakfast yesterday." If you get ready to get a deep relaxed state, someone, and you have to retrace your step, obviously you're gonna find out what you had for breakfast yesterday. Not even yesterday, even a year ago. Everything is stored in the subconscious mind, but it's just not arranged right, and the recall and the trigger. I mean, the trigger is like, and when you're talking, you're not thinking. It's very difficult to talk and recall at the same time. That's another my excuse. So as I was saying, yeah, I want to learn everything about everything. How to know everything about everything. That has been my all-consuming life goal purpose. Even though I've been dabbling with non-duality and letting go of goals and everything, and it's kind of liberating when you let go of goals. The whole universe in lifestyle becomes a learning. Like I was at Stater Brothers yesterday, like panachero. It's like diced pork. I read it in dictionary. Now I found it like like it's like your whole universe and life and the outside world becomes your learning space. It's a book. The whole reality becomes a book. You like if you can know how to look because we live in an information rich stimuli rich environment where so much bombarded with information. Like I have this monster uh the monster energy drink, and then the ingredient list there's cyanobalamine and a guarana, and guarana is a fruit. Like it's like knowledge is everywhere, and then it becomes like how much I want to learn. If you do want to learn Wikipedia or do want to learn about, but another thing I do is like go to the library, take out 20 books, put them on the desk, and blast through all of them. Obviously I'm not reading letter by letter, I'm not word by word. I'm absorbing the most it's like basically information absorption. Information, talking of information, it's information extraction. That's a better term, because the reading is basically information extraction. I mean, you can read. This is why rote memorization is so ineffective in many ways. Like you can repeat one paragraph 440,000 times and still not know anything about it. Because I mean, so information extraction is like you're letting your subconscious mind do the heavy lifting, the bulk of the work, and yeah, it's like I'm bombarding myself with information, and whatever sticks sticks. So it's like, so yeah, and then so I watched the patron saints video, then watched the Nobel Prize winners in physics timeline. Those are very rich, like packed, like compendia of information. And then there was another one timeline. Oh, they are from monarchy, French monarchs. That was the very, concentrated, compact information stuffing. Then there's some easy one like golf. Like you basically relax. It's sort of like after the working hard, you relax. But you still, it's a new thing. It's I know nothing about golf, so then you start soaking that up, and then you go outside, and then you see different trucks and buses and fucking delivery trucks, and you have another trigger, and like yesterday I was running by Saint Irania's church or whatever. It was Easter, and I today I looked up yesterday I looked up Saint Irenaeus or whatever, and I think he was taught by Saint shit Saint oh fuck there's another Baba Kyrillos, Pope Kyrillos, and there's Saint oh shit I can forget Polycarp. Yeah, he was taught by Saint Polycarp. There is a church Saint Polycarp church near a house. So yeah, that's another thing. It's like how curious you are. How curious you are. Like if you look at Episcopal, do you know your Episcopals the difference between Episcopal and Lutherans? Like I was watching Chase, and some people didn't even know that like the Jezebel is a. They didn't know they're biblical women's the shrews and that the wicked women of the Bible, and it's like I mean how curious you are. I mean. Yeah, it's like how much you want to die. It's like a tap. How much you want to learn. It's like You can learn if you have 16 hours a day. You can pack in 8 hours, and it's like how much you want to learn. You can the key is how to optimize 16 hours so you're learning all the time. But if you force yourself to learn for like read a book for 3 hours, then you're burned out and you're not learning. You just wasted the other hours. The key is, it's like I one long time ago I read about I was reading an article about what's this guy's name, Jet Li. Was it Jet Li? Yeah, he was talking about how peaceful, how beautiful the lotus flower is, but martial arts is about destruction. And he was saying how back in China, when they're done with the karas, they'll do punching, and when they're done with punching, the legs. It's like, yeah, you're always, the idea is always learning, learning, learning. So it's like, but it cannot be like, it's just like circuit training, or like sort of like, what do you call those? Those hill terrain. We have to switch up the terrain. So it's like, yeah, I forgot the term, where you're shocking the signals in your brain. It's like, because if you're learning the same stuff again and again and again, you're reading the same book, you get, it's like you get, it's monotony and you get bored, because so you have to learn, you have to find different medium of learning, because YouTube is one medium, Wikipedia is one medium, internet is one medium, website, Library of Congress is one medium, Stanford Encyclopedia, that's one media, books are another medium, library is another medium, immersive living, like you go to Portugal, learn, go to a museum, or that's another medium. So it's like the key is, because I cannot read fucking 8 hours a day. It's impossible. You're fucking just lonely and miserable and fucking sad. So idea is, whatever you're doing, you're learning something. You can watch infomercials and you're still learning. And I mean, and even this right now, probably who knows? Like I couldn't tell the girl who employed J Parm for the Rubik's Cube. So obviously I don't know her name. So it's like, I think Kadekar. Yeah, that was her name. But I forgot her first name. I mean, I can't think right now because I'm holding the fucking phone. But the point being, yeah, when I took Aikido, like one of the things that the instructor did was, right on the first day, he said, "Okay, now you teach." I'm like, "What?" And it was and the penny dropped. I was like, "Whoa!" I'm not the penny dropped. It's like, yeah, there was sort of like a, because it was very unexpected. Like it's very counterintuitive. It's like, because when you teach, you teach yourself. When you teach others, you teach yourself. So yeah, the idea is, I mean, you watch a movie, you learn, and because if you want to learn everything about, if you want to know everything about everything, you have to know everything about everything. You have to know who invented typewriting. You have to know where was Miley Cyrus born. I mean, who the fuck knows where was Miley Cyrus born unless you're a Miley Cyrus fan? And I don't even know why, because the pop culture, that's my deficiency. That's why Miley Cyrus popped up. I don't know, because I know nothing about pop culture, the teen programs, the tween hip hop, and the Aquafinas of the world. Like I'm so detached at the main from the mainstream Netflix, mainstream movies, music, TV. Okay, anyways, the point being, yeah, that's another thing. You are, dentist. I think, yeah, Ken Jennings also talked about it in his book. It's like you play a video game, or like you watch Thor. That's how you pick up your Norse mythologies. It's like that's a secret basically. It's like, but another thing is what Joe Rogan does. He himself doesn't realize, just by doing all this. Imagine the podcast he did. His brain, his mind must be incredibly powerful computer, bubbling with information. Bubbling. Obviously, he's not. He's not. I mean, I think when Bill Maher was there, he was kind of had a chagrin for his, like, he was sort of, at one point he asked, "What do you like, Aztec or Inca?" I mean, shut the fuck up, Bill. As if as if Joe is a simpleton, dude. He had fucking Roger Penrose on. He had all the luminaries, intellectual stalwarts on on his podcast. I think Bill kind of has this the thing that Joe is still, but anyways, the point being, Joe Rogan, his mind, I mean, obviously he is not posh, he's not like Hiddleton, is that name Hiddleton, he's not some Oxford, graduated, whatever, but his brain must be teeming with paleontologists, astronomers, who knows, astrologers, Wim Hof, yeah, fitness expert. I mean, yeah, it could be bro science, but still, the knowledge is stuff there. I mean, he himself doesn't give himself credit for it. Just by doing all these hours and thousands of hours of podcasts, like his brain is like, but it's like different. I mean, I'm sure like he has his own special expertise. He would know something about. Like, I'm sure he would know what Lowenheim's Golem theorem is. It's like from model theory in mathematics. But I know that because I spend more time in history of philosophy. I mean, mathematics of philosophy of mathematics and those area. So, but the point being is like, look, everyone in this our world has 24 hours a day, and 365 days a year, and about at least 75 years. It's like there's enough time to like know a lot, and but even though it seems to be about infinite, yeah. What I mean by infinite is like, but still it's finite. All the information of the world. I mean, I think there's like 800. What was it? 800,000 miles. Was it 800,000 or 800 miles of books? I don't know if it's 800 miles or 800,000. 800,000 makes no sense. I think 800 miles of books, yeah, on the law of Congress. But the point being is like, yeah, it's like you can be a fucking this guy who's into soap opera, this girl who's soap opera, this teenage ditz, this starstruck girl who's this sort of like valley girl, whatever. But if you spend, I know some people who watch all the episodes of The Office. It's like, what do you wanna invest, expend your time on, energy on, invest on it, and that's whatever you focus on. That's what you'll have. You can probably do this for the Bantam classics or like romance books or like fucking I don't know, Daniel Steele. If you can read all his books, like point being, people say, "Oh, I'm not logical." Pe- pe- even teenage boys and girls, they're even logical. It's just logic is different because imagine the teenage guy, high schooler who doesn't get a text reply back. He might go, "What if?" It's like an algorithm. It's like a for while loop, or maybe she's with someone, or maybe she's busy, maybe her parents is there, maybe blah 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 blah, and it's like runs at 40 knots an hour, ferociously like a steam engine, and it's trying to figure it out what's happening. But it's like every see, even a street hustler or scammer, like their mind, it's like everyone's logician. Everyone is people think like logic is some esoteric. No, everyone is capable of reasoning. Logic is reason. Everyone is capable of reasoning, and it's like how you justify it. I was watching Mariana van Zeller. All the criminals he justified, from the black market gun arms dealer, the drugs and scammers, traffic, phone call scammers, all justified. It's like it's not none of my business what they do with the drug. All I'm doing is shipping. That's what they said. So it's basically, it's like, hey, it's like, don't blame it on, don't lay it on me. It's like I have nothing to do with it. It's like you're the one. It's on you. The blood is on you. I mean, all I'm doing is I'm just the middleman. It's like everyone, sort of justify it. It's like, and it's funny because you think criminals would be like, oh yeah, yeah, I know what I'm doing wrong, blah blah blah, you know. They're crying and wallowing and guilt tripping, but it's not. It's like they have a sort of thick skin and callous internal mindset when it comes to, and all of them talked about doing a job. It's like, whoa, I'm just doing a job. I'm just doing a job. It's, to them, it's just delivering pizza. It's no different delivering pizza than cocaine or whatever. So point being, I don't know how I ended up on that tangent. Yeah, everyone, yeah, there are a lot of misconceptions. People still think there's sort of hierarchy. Like if you're like Roger Penrose, Cambridge University professor with tweed jacket, you're somehow more logical, more. Again, these are relative. Intelligence, not knowledge. Yeah, even knowledge is relative. Just because you know about all the history of Iceland doesn't make you so much better if you know the history of fucking. I don't know. I don't know if you know anything everything about fortune cookie industry. I mean business. It's like whatever, dude. It's like apples and oranges. It's like loaves of. It's like yeah. But people, even though it's 2021, 2022, people still think, blah, 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 as if there's some hierarchy. Some people, scientists, engineers, doctors, they're more into. I mean, fuck, dude, there's neuroplasticity, there's Howard Gardner's multiple theories of intelligence, multi frames of intelligence. I mean, we are so far ahead from those kind of thinking, archaic thinking, but people still think it's like yeah, a gang member who was heavily thugged gang member in a lumberjack t-shirt and jeans, with a bandana. I mean, even he. can, if he really wants, can give a set theoretician a run for his money if he wants. Point being, and that's the thing, glimpses you get from Advaita or non-duality is like everyone is saying we're all God's manifestation, but and these information are so widely available, but people people still think that if you can understand, just because you can understand general theory of relativity or someone more intelligent than people, or if you can that's what I used to think, like people who can solve Rubik's cube, they're like sort of figuring out the algorithm in under 30 seconds. But it's nothing. The great one of the greatest I guess epiphany was the giveaway was that it's basically it's same it's cranking out an algorithm. It's not like they're figuring out God's algorithm and finding out under the best optimal move under 21. I mean, yeah. So yeah, that has been my, I guess, even that's unofficially that has been my passionate uh labor of love, how to know everything about everything. So to recap, that's what I wanted to learn. Like, I mean, that's what I'm at. Like, I want to learn everything about everything, and it's a goalless goal because I don't think I can reach to a level. It's gonna take 30, 40 years. But if I'm alive, I mean, knock on wood, um, it's almost the way I'm approaching life right now is I am treating is like a good game, like a puzzle. I have this sort of, think of this brain as a this play-doh, like a sort of this lump of muscle and the brain mass, and I want to see how can I mold it so that, but I don't think it can happen. That was the delusion I was under. Like, probably I'll reach a state where my brain is like you like ketogenic diet where you're in a state where your brain is super fast, super clean. But I mean, then you're like you're hungry. You're sacrificing diet, basically sugar, and getting more angry, and it's hard to maintain that state ketogenic state, ketosis state of ketosis. So the point being, you can be a laid back guy and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah, the point being, life. I'm not taking life too. I'm taking life more easy now. Like, yeah, it's like I don't have any goal, and the good part of not having any goal is like I'm more mindful in whatever I do. Like, suppose if I want to study about, if there's a video on lacrosse on whatever, and if I'm interested, I'm watching it. But before I was like, if you have a goal, if you want to be, oh, I'm gonna be the best guitar player in the world, even if you want it or not, you've disciplined, you wield a club over your head and this cane, and you beat yourself up. If the rest of your mind strays, mind wanders off, But now it's like I don't have any goal. That's a good part of post realization, non-dual Advaita post realization is, and then it's like, and the good part is, it's like I'm mindful. It's like I don't care. Like before, it was like I had preferences, like cricket. I would rather watch cricket and then lacrosse, but now it's like whatever. It's like more blasé. And the good part is you really don't give a fuck, give a shit, and life becomes more enjoyable because equanimity. I think I have the equanimity more in me, and it could be meds or could be just normal where the dopamine is not released, where my mood is very steady. It's not up and down, and I'm like whatever I do. I'm not saying I don't have anxiety. I mean, but it's almost like I don't have preferences. Like I can, but that doesn't mean I don't get bored or I don't have interest. But it's like I'm going with the flow. It's like more Dharma bomb type of lifestyle, and it's like going with the flow. The hippie bus mindset where wherever it's dawn, wherever it's night, you sleep and then wake up pack next day. And still the routine is there. That I'm still working out. I'm not working out. Yeah, exercising sometimes, but it's like I wanna. My ultimate holy grail is living a life where it's kind of like an LSD trip, where it's like every nooks, every turn and a turn of the corner, it's like you're fascinated. It's like, but you'll see, you cannot design it because the moment you design a routine or ritual, it's like it becomes very. It's like I think I mentioned it in one of my alternate channel. Again, that's like another 400 times I said that. When I was a young guy in college, freshman, the professor was like, "Oh, I make a blueprint of what I want to write," and that's how Hollywood movies are made. I want a blueprint. Then it becomes writing by the numbers. It becomes production by the numbers. If you know everything, why everything is like a sort of template. Template. It's like, I mean, I know, but in Japanese tea ceremony, it's like it's like every experience is different, but it's same. So I mean, I get it. That's the benefit of ritual. It's like even if you're putting a flower ikebana, you're putting. That's what I used to do. I had a kenzen. I think that's it called kenzen, and I used to put a flower. It's different flowers, but it's the same. But it's flower every day. I get that. That's the good part of ritual. But I want to be. I'm gonna have more roller coaster, like sort of this bobsledding, turn and slide on my way where I don't know what hit me, and it's like because then you're not endangering yourself in a to be in a stagnant state. So it's like I want to be like where I'm playing chess whole day today, and next day I completely forget about it and I'm studying about Romanov dynasty and then whatever fuck. And then next time I'm taking jewelry making class, and then I'm into like go to bridal shop and learn about lace making, and then go to how some place where they make needle with pine cone or pine needles, whatever they make. I don't know what I'm rambling on. But the point being, it's like imagine your life becomes like that. It's like a journey through a Disneyland or a Universal Studio where like you don't know what to expect. It's like every day is an adventure. And yeah, third eye awakening, Kundalini awakening kind of took me there. But then the status of homeostasis sets in, and you like smoke weed all day, and it's like we're in the status quo. It's like you're not you. It's like a very routine life. So that's why I'm doing this podcast just to get off the routine. But I don't think I can sustain it because we're creatures of habit, and you also need to spend money. It's like if you had a lot of money, you can do that. You can fucking go to a cheese bar and eat cheese, and the next you go bored, and it's a lot of money, and it basically it's dopamine. The dopamine fast is all the thing. Basically, it's I'm going all the opposite way. It's like you're constantly stimulating your brain. It's like and with novelty, and it's like go go go, and at the end, I don't think you'll be schizophrenic. It's like you're keeping your brain like very agile and loose and sharp and fluid and fluid intelligence running. And there was this guy who was the who was who was compared to Leonardo da Vinci. He's like he's kind of old, but he plays all the time. He bounces two balls against the wall and he catches it. But he has he has weird contraptions and toys and his gadgets he makes up. I don't know. Let me see if I can if I can dig it up from online. But yeah, because he's learning something, and that takes you on an upward cycle, where more novelty and stimulus, and you know, uh, um, begets more novelty and stimulus, and that's it's one of the cure to depression, basically. But I mean, uh, because you're constantly learning, it's almost like suppose I learn about. Let me see if I can find that guy. Um, World's most fun. I don't know what the title was of the fun guy. World's most fun guy. I put no, that's not it. It's not world's fun guy. And world's I don't know. Playful guy, playful guy, ambidextrous, ambidextrous, mind sharp. I don't know what's it called. But it was a good video I watched. Maybe you can watch it at the end. Yeah, it was a news. I don't know. It was a news. They did a segment on this guy. Yeah, I don't know. If I can find it later, I'll probably post the link. Um, yeah, I don't know what was he accused of. Accused of having now I'm reading a title. What was he yeah, but it was like Leonardo da Vinci. I think modern day Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo I don't know what's it called, but uh, um yeah, I don't know. I mean, but it was this guy who 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 constantly keeps busy by, he'll be like unicycling one time, or like rollerblading next, or like he'll be like juggling balls. He's like, but and his mind is sharp, and it's like, and that